besides not being able to sweet shoot. Switch shoot. Sweet shoot. Come on, boy. Probably should have brought Flourish. That's okay. We know what we're good at. Is he in the Animaniacs? What a great guild. But is switch shooting even... switch shooting. Is virtue itself. Is that even necessary? Like, if you have the virtue itself locked into the game, into an objective that you have to meet, what is, like, should you even bother with personal virtuous development? If we have a law that says we follow these laws, and we can have a great society, what does mankind do? Does mankind say, that's a great idea? Or does mankind say, okay, how can I break the laws to make my life easier? I mean, which one sounds more contextually normal? I would say option 2. Do laws exist because good people exist, or do laws exist because bad people exist? Again, well, I guess it's option 1. Option 1. I mean, if you're a good person, if you love thy neighbor, if you serve others rather than yourself, it does make sense that you would be the type of person who, you know, would abide by things that would be good for others. When you put self first and self-interest first, and then on top of that, you cling on to what makes, you know, what is the instant gratification, and what Bertrand Russell would say, the finding solace in the little individual pleasures in this life is the only meaning that one could possibly have, which is so shallow and depressing. Like, even Bertrand Russell himself would go into vast depths of depression, and he would sit and not say anything and then just read the Bible. This guy was an atheist. He read Ecclesiastes. Pardon me, it was his favorite book, and he would just go nuts with that thing. Oops. Go nuts, right? Like, you're so depressed, I'm going to read this even harder. No. I'm not taking anything away from grandiose depression. I mean, it's obviously a thing, both clinical and otherwise. My mom suffered from it. I don't think she was diagnosed, and Lord knows how she got through her life as it was. Okay. Woo! Mike, it's not the... There we are. Whoop, whoop. There we are. We're doing it. Slowly. I do remember how to switch shoot. That's one of the... They also remember how to dodge my shots, which is good. Glad the enemy doesn't forget either. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm coming up on my 40s. Believe it or not, it's only a couple of years away, which is going to be a very interesting time in my life. I honestly am going for the opposite extreme of, you know, older, weaker. Not this guy. Older, stronger. I'm trying to increase my workouts as I get older, which has basically been true since my early 20s. Not ripped all beyond belief, but I'm definitely putting a lot more into my physical being than I used to. So even in that aspect, like, you look at the amount of diabetes and the amount of, like, in my work passage, I see rotting teeth everywhere. And I'm like, do you drink soda? And they will say yes. I'm like, well, why don't you drink water? And they say, well, soda makes me happy. And then in my mind, I don't ask this question because I think it's socially rude. I'm like, well, don't you want to have your teeth? I don't understand. The further down you go in the society, usually the the less value physical appearance is, and it's a lot of the victimhood, like, you know, what does it matter? We're all gonna die anyway. That kind of a loss mentality. So we should go back to straight up arcade, right? Kablam. What could possibly go wrong? Blah blah. He's shocked. I could tell. So in a digital age, so let's take the besides the obvious, I think, video game paradigm where you have to, like, even objectivity is even built into the game. So games are not reality, right? So there's a distinct difference between the two. But let's take it into the political realm. That is you who oh jeez, notice Dr. Trump, our beloved physician of everything moral, good, and true, I'm not kidding. I'm gonna break into a Trump spiel here in a minute, but he is obviously on par with the digital age, seeing as how that gentleman, every time he, I gotta remember, they hit you. It's easy to remember that because they come at you. Like what? But there's every time he touches Mr. Trump touches his Twitter account, I really honestly wish the entire Secret Service would just jump on him. Because there's no filter tact, he's seeking any kind of advice from anybody else who's gone before him, or even from a different perspective. It's frustrating, man. Because he makes some embarrassing calls. So, does that mean I defend Trump in everything he does? Absolutely not. I was asked the other day, people looked at me and said, am I a Trump supporter? And I said, well, that is a loaded question. Because if I say yes, I'm immediately castigated into this realm where I love him and everything that he does. And I value his moral character. I love everything about him. And that's just not true. I mean, he is a horrible... He's undisciplined, untouchable, basically, because that's just how he is. Like, he does something wrong again, it's Trump. So is his character, a lot of things about him I strongly disagree with. And I'm not going to even, like, touch. But on the flip side of that, as far as a leader, president, that kind of person... Sorry, I forgot I had my mic on. As far as a leader, that kind of person, he's made some good things happen. I can't even deny it. So, I can say that. I support him as I would support my boss, and in liking to think that he has my best intentions in mind, or any kind of battlefield leader. You know, if someone's leading you on the battlefield toward a destination, you would like to think they're not leading you off a cliff. You gotta pause and ponder what the purpose of being in the army was to begin with. Does that make sense? So I would support him as I would support any kind of leader in an organized fashion, trying to get some kind of object, some kind of goal done. I'd put faith in that. I would have to. I'd be if you don't, if you don't have any kind of trust in anybody, you're gonna just go absolutely insane, and you're gonna be a hermit. And this is what putting a monetary value on a person's life looks like too. Because eventually, so how do we get to that? I mean, that's kind of a leap, right? So what'll happen is this will be a short hop, skip, and a jump to survival of the fittest, because nobody trusts anybody. So why would I even bother learning your language if I know what's in your deceptive heart is eventually going to betray me for whatever you think is your greater good? So at some point, people had to bypass that instinct of survival of the fittest and start working with community. I will help you. I help to. That does not make sense when nature is red in tooth and claw. I think Tolstoy said that. I think. I get them all confused. I was reading today Val Hinninger, I think. I'm reading this book I got that's written in 1943, so like during or like shortly after the start of World War II. And it talks about modern philosophy, and you can see of course there's no theological philosopher in the book. It's all like secularism. Locke is about the closest you come to it. There are a couple in there, but usually their rationale philosophy is kind of like, not focused on the deity part, the transcendent part, things outside of this life part. I mean, even Stephen Hawking in his book talks about, refers to the absurdity of talking about things that's outside of this world of laws that we live in. Like, the question who created God is an absurd question. You shouldn't even ask it. We're on our way down. So hopefully we find another one of those things, because that was kind of cool. Anyway. Where was I going with that? So, hold on, I can do this. Muting the mic, man. Next gen. So putting a value on somebody's life. I just went down a couple tangents there. First off, I was talking about Heidegger. Van Hinger. I'm gonna go get the book. But yeah, that gentleman, Van Hinger, if that is his real name, because I forget it's in the other it's in the other room there. He talks about his whole theory is called anti-rationalism or irrationalism. Like that's his philosophy. But he uses ration and reason to dismantle ration and reason. So I mean, like every single philosopher has that conundrum. David Hume makes he says the line, let's see, put it something like, okay, I'm trying, something like, examine any book. Does it talk about anything scientific? Does it talk about anything mathematic? Throw it to the flames then, for it's not useful. That itself is a philosophical belief. That is not a scientific belief. There's no way to prove that's the right way to do things. I mean, even if you do, it's a matter of opinion, because unless you have the entirety of Earth's history and an ultimate, something that, exists outside of life to tell you what the goal and purpose is of life, well, it's tough to make that claim. Sam Harris says, the flourishing of humanity is the ultimate good and everything should point that way. Well, okay, sure. Well, what if the flourishing of humanity, let's put that in the Muslim world, right? They want all Muslims to flourish, and they put okay, we're talking about extremists, right? The Sunnis is only a basically recent type of thing. Dude, my connection's dying again. I'm so sorry. My kids. They're streaming. My wife's on her phone. What am I supposed to do? Help. Help. Okay, we're back. I think. Just got sidetracked. Oh, we'll get him. He's right there. I was wholly delayed, Batman. We're down to 2 bars. Can we get down to 1? I don't know. Oh, jeez. So the, I forget the original point I was going to make. I gotta write this stuff down. That's what happens when you do philosophy on the fly. Or at least somebody in chat has set me straight. I guess the only few people that are watching are spectators. And that's okay, too. The only thing I feel is worthy of conversation anymore is heavy topics. The biggest lie, in my opinion, is that... So ideas are separate from people. People are valuable and should be respected based on their version of reason. You can use a lot of types of philosophy to validate this. But the thing that should be realized is that ideas should be fleshed out. Ideas should be talked about. Ideas deserve to be, cast aside or encouraged. And that's because that's what leads to reality, right? It's not if you keep everything as an abstract thought, I mean, well, what's the point of just thinking yourself to death? You have to have this kind of reality that comes from your line of thinking. And you can see this when you look at the modern philosophers, the ones that are pre-World War II. Survival of the fittest. Man is just red in tooth and claw, or evolution. The strong will overcome the weak. That's Nietzsche, and that's Hitler listening to Nietzsche. I mean, the whole Marxism philosophy of everybody being equal and having the government basically replace God. That's in China, and cat just paralyzed my left leg. And then you look at Russia, and Russia had Stalin, who was going to go into the ministry, but then he just kind of decided not to. I was kind of wondering what made that switch flip. And during that time, Russia and China killed 16 million apiece of their own people. And then you had the Holocaust, which was 6 million. I mean, it's just crazy. And you can't ignore the advances of the Our King of a secularistic society without anything that transcends it and tells it like human beings are valuable. It's very tough to do this. It's very tough. You can do it, but I don't think it would be a very honest claim. That's just my opinion. Oh, my leg's asleep. Oh, yes, cat, please take the other leg. All right, what do we got? We have a Final Flourish Gilded Griffin. Yeah, buddy. That's what we want. give him a couple whacks here, a little poker stick. Ghosts do not like poker sticks. Probably should have an AP, but you know, I like the Griffin, man. It's good. I got it in the name of Skulvers everywhere. If you're a Skulver and you want to wear that traditional gear, that's all well and good. Dude, I haven't played Lockdown in like half a year. It's been a while. And that's okay. It's not like I have any chance to fight anybody. I think I view myself as like one of the backup players that is good at like holding down points. I believe in the overall purpose of the game rather than the individualistic, you know, selfish numbers that people strive for. But that's, you know, that's its own thing. Did it? Did you see that American Griffin? Okay, well, at least I have to have the Shadow Sun on. I didn't check what type of gear I was wearing. Like if it was ooh, let's get out of there. Shadow Sun or Chaos. I'm pretty sure it's Shadow Sun. Pretty sure. Anyway, seeing that kind of secular thinking coming in the 30s, or sorry, the 40s, as it was mounting, it's no surprise to see where things went. And you need, like, apparently we needed that shock of seeing a whole group of people thrown into the ovens, literally, to make us realize that, hey, that's bad. Never again. And then we have a whole other topic of, like, the concentration camps, right? What's going on in America right now with the border patrol, and you have so many people in the Democratic Party running for president who just advocate for like pure socialism. It is on the path of ludicrousy. It honestly is. And the only way, like, you can get there real easy. You just ignore like all the Judeo-Christian worldview values that led to our Constitution. You ignore all the 56 people that made that possible. And you focus on the two that are deistic. Maybe deistic. Because Jefferson definitely had two different versions of the Bible he wrote. And if you don't, like, if that's beyond your beliefs, you read about Jefferson. He's a very interesting person. Very intelligent. He actually read the Quran. We should probably pop some pills here. Oh, no, we don't have to. We don't have to. I thought we got hit, but that was our buddy. Our buddy Night A. Pardon me. We're in some, ooh, Eternal Orb. Alright, we have yet to see Radiance. I'm not thinking that we're gonna. But, dude, if I can, I'm glad we had one spark to finish that level. Having a tile, like, running through traps, that kind of thing, that was a challenge. It was a legit challenge. Love your hair, by the way, Cord. Anyway. My bunny. My bunny. But is there should we keep this? Yeah, we should. Is there an overarching virtue that should be within any video game? Let me ask you this. Do you enjoy when people troll you? Do you think that's a cool thing? Like, I should be like that person. No. What you take from a person being completely ignorant from you is the feeling. And you want to, and so you take that feeling. You know how it feels. And instead of saying, I'm never going to make anybody feel like this, what you do is you put it in your back pocket and you say, you know, whenever someone makes me mad, I want them to feel this way too. And that's the way cancer spreads. That's the way it spreads over the internet. And it's very tough, dude. It's hard not to fall in that kind of paradigm. You just want to jump into it. It feels good to unleash your anger, hatred, etc. toward, you know, the masses. Especially when you're in accountability, whatever kind of accountability you want. Accountability. That was not correct. Use that, then we'll use this. We'll just go in like freaking guns blazing, sword blazing. We are freaking fire incarnate. Pardon me. Oh. You got this. Funk soul, brother. So that kind of hates and animosity that just like cascades with games. League of Legends, like there are some kind of a non-empathetic, and I use that in a semi-serious context when I say non-empathetic. I read this book, although I read about 60% of it, enough to get the gist of it, I believe, called The Empath Survival Guide. It's written by a doctor, and it talks about empaths they are a thing, and they absorb emotions of others. Like it helps you sympathize, and there are people that just don't have this. The opposite end of this gem would be called sociopaths. More shinings, thank goodness. We'll save the realm with our shinings. Time to stock up on 1 million parts, I guess. Please. Did I click something? I heard that. Get in there, Mike. We're stuck on the edge of something. Let's get in there. Yeah. We got this. We got this. You know what? I think it's time for the African American Indian Eagle. There we go. How many do we missed a few? I bet. There we are. Beautiful. Whoop. Just knocked him right out of the way. Ooh. You going in there, Mike? There we go. Atta boy. Come on. So what kind of there's a gentleman asked Ravi Zacharias, what's so wrong with relativistic thinking? And his the knee-jerk reaction to that question was, do you lock your doors at night? Of course, the guy said yes, because we generally, as a rule, don't trust people. But his question was like, why do we need a book to tell us what to do? It's not like we're going to start, murdering and killing and stealing from each other in mass amounts. I'm like, well, dude, have you been to Baltimore? Hello. My ears. Someone turned their mic on. But, or San Diego, I think, where they have, like, colonies of rats just, like, roaming the streets, and you could take your science class out to see this kind of stuff. Because, I guess the argument is, because heaps of trash are just everywhere, it's the homeless person's right to have that trash. And, okay, how do I put this? The left-leaning side, sort of come up with this, and it's like it's there. It's not your right to take their trash. It's a public street. That homeless person can sleep there, even though it's right outside your door. No, okay. Homeless need help. The poor need help. We will always have the poor. Christ said this. The poor will have it with us always, but not him. So we take care of the poor. They need help. But poor is more of a state of mind than it is an actual poverty state. If you give up on living, and people give you money, what are you going to use that money for? Well, hey, I better go buy, invest this in clothes to help give me, like, your long-term plans kind of go out the window. You're not really invested in that kind of long-term thought. You're just going to spend it on, like, a cheeseburger, and with good reason, like, yeah, not like anybody else can help me out. You have this kind of, self-defeating mentality. And it cascades on itself, too. It's a state of mind. So the other part of this is... Sorry, I'm going to mute you. The other part of this is... you have other... So that's just America, right? That's just the depression of affluence, kind of... like, rebounding off of you in general. The opposite of this is, like, places in other countries where they have to... child labor is a thing, and they spend, like, 13 hours a... Oops, excuse me, I thought you were gone. You spend like 13 hours a day just like walking to get water. Or, they're in slave labor camps. Or, what's the other one? Your uncle and your father and your mother all died of AIDS, and you have to be the kid that takes care of the family now, and you're 11. Like, there's some extreme examples. That's the other direction, and Bill Clinton pointed this out. He said poverty is a state of mind. Oh, we need that. We got the big boomstick now. But the assumption is that people will take what you give them and use it for good. That would be a nice assumption. I have a difficulty explaining to my, to people who like, and it's I'm gonna be honest with you, it's mostly men, even though men should be, viewed as stronger. What do they call it? The toxic masculinity of the age, where they abuse their strength. That's not the strength that we're talking about. Strength of mind and fortitude are totally different. The fact that we're given muscle on par with that biologically, which is biologically asserted, so you can tell me that men and women are equal in all aspects, even in name, and watch a male who says he's a female just somehow win in the Olympics. I mean, you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Once you start like saying there are no definitions for anything, life starts to become a bit meaningless, and no one wants to live that way. Even little kids want to live in some kind of a context, some kind of, a rule set. They need it. They thrive on it. They actually get better with it. It makes their minds better, makes their coordination, makes everything about them better. So would you need a point of reference? Do we need a book to tell us what to do? I would say yes. But that's a horrible answer. Because how dare I have this book? Well, besides diving into, the authenticity of Scripture, that kind of thing. Besides just doing that straight up. What kind of point of reference do we have? Besides opinion. There has to be some sort of baseline that is almost non-negotiable through any type of translation that you have to have in order to, revert back to, okay, well, we've gone too far this direction. We need to center our line back according to this. And it's been seen in the past, we're given like historical views on this stuff, that this does work in societies. But once you start, if you deviate away from something for so long and have no basis for truth or for goodness, or, it's all what I think, and we get into the self-gratifying culture, and we get into everything's all about me, we get to the survival of the fittest, we get into victimhood, again, all about me, because that's what victimhood is. How I deserve this because I've been through this, and that kind of stuff actually like glorifies you. You start convincing yourself that what is up is actually down. The victim actually deserves. The perpetrator of the crime is actually the victim, and what should make you stronger, instead of having the calluses or the muscles or the scars to show that you can deal with this kind of pain and overcome it. Instead of that, you just deserve a handout. You deserve a free ticket through life because of your victimhood. I wish we get rads. Me too, brother. Me too. We get knocked down and we get up again. And they just give us a... hello. We just get another spark of life. Do. Once in a while, my connection is fairly solid, but once all the family just gets on board, and it's stream time and it's video time, I have no hope. There is none. Mike, thank you. This is probably my favorite loadout, by the way, for lockdown. Just like if I ever get a computer that can run it, it's probably better for me that I didn't. So here's my prophecy for myself. If I ever jump in the online video Twitch thing, I'm probably going to do two things. One, philosophical talks, which I am not trying to do like 7 things at once. I'm catering to a cat who's paralyzing my leg. I got everything open on one screen. My computer's garbage. I'm trying to, figure out new things. My kids are in the background. It's about dinner time. So instead of that, I'm going to focus on 2 things. One, my strength. So martial arts is a big part of my life. Probably going to do like workout videos. I'm going to hitting up the kettlebells like crazy. So I'd like to introduce some of that to you guys. Can you like my 2-year-old, just freaking won't stand still. Except I'm not trying to shoot my 2-year-old. Alright, again, context is important. Don't take it out of where it should be taken. There we go. Just accelerate that process. Oh my goodness. And I need to turn off these Windows 10 updates. Wait, I forgot I had this. Get him, buddy. I mean, I did throw some bombs down there. What freaking Chef Ramsay. I'm not gonna mother F you to death, but you know. I got game, that's all I'm saying. Hey, we did it. We made it to the end now. I got to see the newer level. Still a thing. And I think we got like 6 radiants here, and we might have enough money. M is for money, right? Trade. We have enough? We got like 9,000 crowns down here. Buying 100, and then we go to usable, and then we go to waching, boom, waching, boom. Just kidding, I forgot how to count. Oh, no. Confirm. Thank you. Sorry. Oh, my leg. Oh, cat. He jumps off my lap, twitches his tail because he's all mad at me. He's going to jump up here and just sit down again. It's his life. My wife's computer blew out the power unit. Dude, my connection's dying again. Jeez. I get knocked down, but I get up again. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Oh my god. You know, I'm probably one. In my best interest, it would be if I was trying to min-max, I would not be at the screen, but I want to see what we got. Got to see the end game. I've not seen the Marvel movie Endgame, by the way. But let's take a look at Haven. Dude, I haven't even been at Haven since last time I logged in, which was that last video I made. So we'll see how Haven went. How Haven is. I was actually looking for old versions of Java that I could download, which apparently are not even a thing. But that's alright. 8,000 crowns, 6 radiants. Dude, we freaking hit the lottery. 9 radiants. How dare you? I want to read that screen a lot longer because I can't. Meow. Anyway. Dreidel. Do. Yeah, da. No. Dreidel song, anybody? Well, I've went on about Virtue for a while, and now my connection is faltering even more so that's about dinner time. Dude, I got Chinese in the fridge. I'm so sorry, guys. And I think we might have gotten the black screen of death. Maybe we are just not meant to see Haven. Hello? Please. Oh, here we go. It's the 4th Haven. The first 3 are occupied. Let's take a victory lap around Haven. So, in my opinion, anyway, virtue is necessary if we don't want a society that destroys itself. As seen in history, as seen in politics, even in the gaming world, it kind of reflects on the boundaries we set. There's no Bibles in schools, but there are plenty of Bibles in prison. As if we need, we'd rather, cut ourselves and get a Band-Aid as opposed to just live life without cutting ourselves. It's a very interesting conundrum. You can't deny the benefits of a world where people try to better themselves. I want to look. But I'm done. My connection's destroyed. We'll wait for it. I know there's somebody. There's gotta be somebody in there. My connection's flashing red and orange. Then my bars. You can see them. Hey, according to the Twitch detailer, my connection is unstable or excellent. Well, hey, got 4 bars. Anyway, I think that'll do it. It's good to see some cat gear. I was going to jump in to see my call. Pardon me. Can't, man. I think virtue is necessary in the digital age. We just got to, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I can't move anymore. There we go. I don't, it's all about the perspective on what kind of virtue we're aiming for, right? So, anyway. Once again, thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, little rant I had. I might be doing more. We'll see. Click the like button, subscribe if you want to see more in the future, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.